Good evening, Gaels sports fans, and welcome to another exciting edition of Know a Gael. I'm Kyle Compeau on behalf of GoGaelsGo.com, and for today's edition, we're going to delve into the mindset of Gaels volleyball player Jacob Glantz. Jacob's a fourth-year kinesiology student from St. Catharines, Ontario. Jake, how are you today?
I'm very well. Thanks for having me.
So, Jake, you're one of the team's liberos on the volleyball team, but for people who are unfamiliar with the game, can you briefly describe what your role is with the team?
Yeah, so basically the libero is the defensive specialist of the team. So when the other team's attacking or serving, it's our job to control the backcourt and make sure that we can return the ball with a spike of our own.
So it seems like the libero is more of like a specialization position as opposed to some of the other positions in volleyball, sort of like a kicker in football or a goaltender in hockey. And it seems like, those players sort of get a bit of a reputation as being, fearless or a different breed of human being. Do you think that applies to volleyball liberos as well?
Yeah, I think that the idea applies, but everyone on the court has to be able to dig those hard-driven balls. The difference really between the libero and the other positions is the expectations are they're so much higher because that's your job. It's your responsibility to get everything you can up.
So this past summer, you had the opportunity to compete in the Maccabiah Games, which in summation is basically like the Jewish Cultural Olympics. And you had the experience to go over there and play for Team Canada. What would that experience mean to you, and what was it like having head coach Brenda Willis there with you?
Well, having Brenda there was kind of a nice comfort zone, I suppose, because I know her methods, how she likes to run her team. And because it was such a new experience for me, kind of being on the international stage, that helped a lot. But the experience itself was incredible. All of the other teams, there were some professional players that I've never got the privilege to play against. The style of play was so different. And the fans were great. You're kind of like a celebrity when you're over there. They're waiting for you when you get off the team bus at the venue. And yeah, the whole experience was very eye-opening, and I'm very grateful for it.
So you're in your fourth year here now, so you're sort of a veteran, so to speak, on this Queen's team, and you have an OUA title under your belt. Is there any one particular achievement that sort of sticks out to you above the rest during your time here at Queen's?
Well, obviously winning that OUA gold was a huge factor, but by far the thing that stands out in my mind is hosting nationals, which happened to be that year as well. The moment before our very first game against Alberta, the crowd was the loudest I've ever heard any crowd, and just thinking about it, I still get shivers. It was an unbelievable moment, and very proud to have been able to represent Queens and our team at home.
Is that the busiest that you think you've ever seen the Arc in terms of crowd capacity?
By far, yeah. It was something to look up on both sides and both ends and be able to see friends and family and people supporting you, even if you don't know who they are.
So far through 8 games this season, you guys are at 3-5, but have plenty of time to kind of rebound and climb back up the standings. What do you guys need to do in order to sort of respond and make sure you get a spot back in the OUA Final Four?
Yeah, well, it's obviously not the ideal start for us. We came into the season with pretty high expectations, and I think that we kind of started trying to run before we could walk. So over the past few weeks, we've been working very hard on the basics, and I think we've done a really good job of that. And from here on out, we can really start to improve and climb. And those high goals that we had set at the beginning of the year are still certainly achievable at this point.
Jake, thanks very much for joining us today. And make sure you guys head out to the Arc this weekend. Friday night, the Gaels take on the Western Mustangs. And on Saturday, following it up with a pivotal match against the Windsor Lancers. For Jacob Glantz of the men's volleyball team, and for this week's installment of Know a Gael, I am Kyle Compeau for GoGaelsGo.com.